Hey, rodeo clown.
Don't you have work to do? Some of us work and some of us play. Huh.
Yeah. Nice sound. Can you do that again?
My head?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing we wanted to be sure of before we started covering up the walls and floors was to make sure we sealed up every hole and gap to keep all the critters and bugs out as much as possible. In 2015, I decided to finally tackle a problem that's been ongoing since the build of the cabin was finished many years ago. The original stain on the cabin wouldn't even last a single year before it started to peel away. As you can see how dry, patchy, and faded this original coat is already looking in this clip after just one season. The first few years it was kind of neglected because I assumed it would last at least 4 or 5 years. But when I took a closer look, I realized the wood was in real bad shape, assuming because of my inadvertent neglect. I think I restained it 5 or 6 times over the next several years, which is a long and very tedious process. It would look good right after I was finished, but by the time the next spring would roll around, it needed another new coat. In 2015, I spent days sanding all of the old stain off the cabin by hand. I wanted to start from scratch and use a higher quality solid color stain, and I wanted to make sure it was going to bond properly to the wood. I knew the only way to accomplish that was to completely remove the old stain. I decided to go with a nice, rich, deep brown color. The first coat took a while, but seemed to absorb deep into the wood. The second coat went on much faster and glided on really easy. I've been really happy with the new stain. I got 7 maintenance-free years out of it and could have easily gotten 8 or 9 years. But in 2022, my buddy Kevin, who was visiting from Ireland, was willing to help me give the cabin a fresh coat while he was here. So I took advantage of the opportunity and we spent the next 2 or 3 days getting the job done.
There she is.
Do you want to, I can do this bit here, if you want to do that bit around there, that on the deck.
Oh, this.
That should give me about another 8 or 9 years. Here's a hint if you want to know what brand of stain I was using. We were excited to finally get to a part of the build that was kind of special to us. Drywall the bathroom and install a toilet. Even though we didn't have water yet, because the well pump had still not been installed and wouldn't be for a while.
What are you doing?
Making a mess. Pretending like I can tile. Are you looking at my craftsmanship?
Yep.
Pretty good, huh?
Yep.
Oh, you agree?
What are you doing?
I'm making the toilet so poop will go down the pipe.
Great.
Ready to use.
And who's going to use it without a seat?
I am.
Somebody forgot to buy a seat.
This is better than a hole in the ground.
Now I am.
2 days and maybe 9 or 10 flushes later, the toilet was plugged up. When I took the cleanout cap off, I noticed that the plumber had forgotten to remove the air bladder in the pipe that's used for the air pressure test, so it can pass inspection. It has a valve on it just like a bicycle tire valve. I knew what to expect, so I slowly let a little air out at a time. Then suddenly, 2 days of nasty exploded all over me.
Let's zoom in on that little thing that was blocking up the line, huh?
Yeah. Got doused with
Toilet water.
10 gallons of filth. Set a home. As we were preparing to start putting up the tongue and groove Aspen on the walls, I remembered noticing when Joel first started framing the cabin last year, something I knew was going to be a problem as soon as we started finishing the interior walls. Many of the rough cut boards he used were either too deep or too shallow. I had a lot of studs to cut back and a lot to shim out further. He got the lumber from a local guy with a sawmill who obviously didn't pay close attention when he was setting the measurements on the mill.
We have a long way to go.